Good morning, guys, and welcome to the 23rd day podcast with myself, Evelina, and my friend Luke. Luke, how are you doing today?
Good morning, good morning. I'm currently not dressed as a pumpkin and I'm tealess as we have had about half an hour conversation before we started this. So it could kick in soon or I could peter fast. We're going to have to see. However, we are Martinless this week. It won't make sense, but last week we recorded with Martin for the first time, which was quite fun having someone on the show, I must have say.
Yeah, change it up a little bit, change the dynamic as well.
Definitely. It's nice to get people on and have a chat with them and see their point of views, I think. We don't have opinions in we probably have opinions in most things, but we don't have experience in some of the things that we speak about, i.e. different types of business and family and stuff. So we're going to start getting those people on in the future into the 2020. Did we say 2021? I don't even know where we are with this year anymore. It's just ridiculous.
Let's just say next year we start
Next
with
year,
getting more experts on.
It's going to be next year that we start talking about it, because this year is just a blur to me now. Like, it's how are we in October? How are we? As we record this, I know this is going to come out in a few weeks, but it's currently October the 24th, right? How are we in October? How is it October the 24th?
Do you know what? I saw this really funny thing on Instagram saying that before entering 2021, I want to read the terms and conditions.
Yeah. Well, I know I've spoken with some people who generally think it kind of seems like they feel like as soon as we hit 2021, this is all going to go back to normal and it's going to be fine. And I'm a bit like, okay, okay. I wish it was, and I hope that I'm wrong. I have been wrong many times, and I will be in the future. But I don't. I see this going on through 2021. I've been watching a bit about the Spanish flu. Actually, I've been watching some documentaries on the Spanish flu, and because obviously, like, they sort of compare, like, this was the last major sort of situation like this. Obviously, we've had other things like SARS and stuff, but in the terms of how it's become such a big issue across the world. So I've been watching a bit of stuff on the Spanish flu, and I've got some facts for you. Would you like to hear some facts?
Yes, please, because I'm in Spain, so that would be very interesting, wouldn't it?
Did you know actually the Spanish flu is not technically from Spain? So the reasons the Spanish flu got its name was because at the time there was the World War on, okay? And so therefore America, the UK and everything like that, they had restrictions on freedom of the press, and therefore they couldn't report the issues that they were having with the Spanish flu. And therefore, Spain at the time wasn't involved in the war effort so much. Okay, they're more like impartial, and for that reason, they had freedom of the press. And then when they were then getting these issues with what Spanish flu, they reported it, but actually, it is said to have come from America.
Oh, that's very interesting you saying that. Do you know what? Because I am currently working from home and I'm watching the Swedish morning show every morning now. Because it's in the background, it's just nice to listen to. But because of the what's the thing in America, the president, the runoff for
Donald
the
Trump,
president, yeah, that is happening now because they're doing the big voting next week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been looking at that, and it's so funny because the current president in America blaming everything on China, and now you're telling me that the Spanish flu might be America's fault.
Well, no, the Spanish flu, was said to have come from America, and then what happened was it got into the troops, and then the troops carried it throughout the trenches, and then when the war ended, the war efforts ended, that the boats all went home, then that's how it really spread to multiple different places. But like I say, it said that it started actually in America, but the first place to report on it was Spain, and therefore it became the Spanish flu.
It's very interesting.
And they had a vaccine for the Spanish flu, but actually looking back on it now, they think that it probably would have done more harm than good for the type of thing they were trying to cure. But the reason the Spanish flu in the end sort of faded out, obviously it's still there, but it faded out because it just sort of mutated into a more seasonal flu and just became more deadly. It sort of burnt itself out.
Hmm.
So I was
Well,
just
hopefully.
I was just watching some stuff just to sort of out of interest to sort of get a bit more history on it, sort of time frame wise. So best case scenario for us, normally a vaccine comes around in say like 5 years, let's say on a good thing. Let's say we've got more people on it and more money now. Let's say we half that by 50%. So let's say 2.5 years. So we've done about 3/4 of a year. So we probably got about another year and a half where it's all up and down potentially.
We'll see. Fingers crossed for the best though,
Well, this
because
is it.
as an ex-backpacker or just someone who loves traveling,
Hmm.
this is the longest I've been to one place without
Going
traveling for
anyway, yeah,
8 years.
It sucks, doesn't it? It sucks.
I'm so restless.
Yeah.
I'm so restless.
However, they have there's a company in I think it's Hertfordshire that are bringing out a little thing that you put on your phone, right? And you prick your finger, and it will test for the COVID virus. I believe it works off the antibodies, and so it'll be able to sort of do its thing and say whether your body's having an immune response to it. And so they're currently crowdfunding for this to get. They have to raise so much money, and if they raise that amount of money, the government will match a certain amount of money, and literally it will give you results within a minute or something. You literally, it's like a finger prick. It's plugged into your phone, and it will assess whether you've got COVID. Obviously, these are scientific people, and they've got to work it out still. But that would be, if that something like that came along, that would be change, like groundbreaking change. Whilst this virus is still around in the terms it is, and there's no vaccine, whilst it's the way it is, no matter your views on it, if you could literally prick your finger in the morning and go, yeah, no, I'm grand, let's go to work, let's go traveling, let's do, you know what I mean? That would change. Whereas now you've got to go and get tested, you've got to wait 2 to 3 days to get your results, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You've got to find a test center. You imagine if everyone had that on their phone and they could just boom, done, let's go.
Yeah, but then you could, yeah, but then you're gonna have to trust that everyone is doing it.
Well, yes. But if you have it on your phone and then someone says, okay, you're going on this flight, for example, show me your up-to-date finger prick on your phone. You'd have like a certificate on your phone just going, here's my thing.
Oh, that'd be clever. Do you know what? In Dubai, you actually have to do 3 COVID tests before
Yeah, a lot of places are doing
entering.
stuff like that.
Yeah, so you have to do one before you go there. You have to do one when you enter, and then when you get to your hotel, you need to do a third one.
Well, let's hope. I was like, that sounded quite exciting when I heard that on the radio. I was like, imagine if something comes like that, that could really change sort of how things are dealt with at the moment, you know, help with people going to schools and works and travel and everything. Because if you've got a day-to-day update, like within a minute, then that's like massive change. If they could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But talking about
because
something...
of the.
Sorry, carry on.
I was just about to say, because when it comes to the restrictions that we have right now, even though COVID is a big issue, what we soon will see is the issues that come in with mental well-being for people not being able to move with as they like, train as they like, being outdoors, socializing, and that's going to be the big pandemic in the end.
Oh yeah, I feel for the kids that are young and like not allowed to go near their nan and granddads at the moment. I think in the long run, like 20 years, they'll have like a real sort of issue there potentially.
Yeah.
I think that could,
And imagine the ones in the older days that finish the years on this earth being locked in.
It's tough. It's such a hard one to juggle, but throwing it back to something that's on our phone and on our person all the time, we are today going to talk about Fitbit and how I love my Fitbit and how you got one first and I am singing to you and now I love mine and I can't see yours on your wrist, so what's going on?
Problem with mine is
your wrist.
The wristband has
Can't you just tighten it?
Pardon?
Evelina is currently showing me her Fitbit that is broken at the wrist strap. Can't you just have it on a different level?
Yeah, but then it gets too tight. This is the perfect level. So the thing is, I'm using it, but when I get home, I take it off because it annoys me.
Okay. But to be fair, mine is slightly ripping at the strap at the top part, but I've had this for probably 2 years now. And it is on me every day. I work outside, I'm gymming it, everything. So it stands up they're pretty resilient, aren't they?
Yeah. Could we say something before we really dive into this Fitbit topic?
Go for it.
We are not sponsored at all by Fitbit. If
no,
they
but
would
if
like
Fitbit
to sponsor us,
Fitbit wants to sponsor us. Feel free to give me a call. I'll take that
Just
sponsor.
shameless plug there,
Yeah,
but
damn
this
right.
is not a sponsor. We're just giving our review on Fitbit and in those kind of trackers in general, because there's some pros and cons with it, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've only used the Fitbit, but I know like people who have had the like the Apple Watch and things like that. And for me, and it's probably just because I use it a lot more. The interface and that on the Fitbit is much more basic in some ways, like i.e. on the device. But I find that in the app, I just prefer the interface of a Fitbit rather than an Apple Watch when I've used the two.
I actually agree with that one. When I was picking, because I stood between Apple, Fitbit, and what was it called?
You got the Garmin's.
Garmin.
Garmin's,
Yes,
yeah.
that's the one. Those the three I was looking at, and Apple, it was straight out going out because I thought it was too much of a phone, and I wanted more for fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at those two other ones, and I looked at the app, and I liked the app better for Fitbit, hence why I picked it in the end, actually.
Yeah, you can obviously 100% do more on your Apple Watch. It is more of a phone. My Fitbit, I've got the Fitbit Blaze. It does say like you can get like updates and notifications on it and stuff from your phone. But I'll be honest, I have that turned on and it's never worked once. So
It doesn't work either. I get it when I get normal text message sometimes,
yeah, no,
but I don't get it because I'm using WhatsApp mostly.
I've never got it ever. It's been turned on the whole time, and I never had one update for it. So the difference between a Fitbit and Apple Watch straight away is that the Fitbit is definitely not a extension to your phone in any way.
Not for the Blaze, at least. I'm actually
No,
going to buy a new one in November now because I had my Fitbit for 3 years. And I think instead of just buying a new wrap, which is cheaper than buying a new one, I think I'm going to invest in a new one actually. So I'm looking at the Versa 2 one, and that one will have more like the Apple similar features.
so you've
Not
got
fully,
so it's a bit
but
more
similar.
like it. Yeah, it's a bit more sort of smartish.
Yeah.
So, because you've got your basic Fitbit that starts in like your Inspire range, which is like you can pick them up for like anything I've seen between like 40 to like 80, £90 for your new, and then it goes Fitbit Blaze, and then it goes Fitbit Versa. The Versa
Yeah,
as
so
well
then I have Versa.
is your waterproof version, isn't it?
Yeah, you can swim and stuff with them.
Whereas the others are water resistant.
Yeah, but how come that you decided to get one from the first place? Like, why did you decide to get a fitness tracker?
Well, I remember you got one, and I was like, "Why are you spending so much money on a watch? It's ridiculous." And then I started looking at yours when you were at mine a couple of times, and then I found with my fitness, because my job is very very active, that I had no idea how many calories a day I was burning, and so to start off, I wanted to know that's the basics. I wanted to know how many calories a day I was burning to know how much food I could eat, because I would stick to a diet of say 2,200 calories, but I had no idea what I was burning. I found out because of my job, where I am out a lot, that I was burning sometimes 4,000, 4,500 calories a day. I was doing around 35, 40,000 steps a day, and I was eating 2. So when I got the Fitbit, I realized, wow, I can really up my calories and still be in a deficit to what I was doing. So originally, it wasn't so much for steps or anything. It was to have a calorie counter for my height, my weight, and my activity and my heart rate and stuff. That was why I got a Fitbit.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
But obviously, I know you got it because you were personal training, weren't you? And you're using it for different stuff like that as well. Like this, because it's got your
Exactly,
stopwatch
especially
on
when I was
everything.
doing classes.
Mm.
So I worked as a personal trainer and fitness instructor, and for me, I plugged in my phone to give music to the class. So when I was doing the class, I struggled to keep a time on the rest time, the time when they should go from one exercise to another. So a Fitbit for me helped me keep an eye on the classes and my clients in a better way. Because if you stand with your phone, it can look quite rude. Even though I have a timer on, it looks rude when you're on your phone. So for me, it just looked more professional to have a watch that I was looking at. And also helped to track my calories because at the time I was calorie counting. And when you are teaching, I don't know, 10, 15 classes a week and training yourself on top of that, I needed to have a little bit better idea.
Mm. I do find it kind of like I say, where I was like burning so many calories that I didn't know about, but I would stick to my diet. I would find that I was fatiguing a lot more because I was like, no, I've eaten my 2-2. I'm not eating more because I've got to my 2-2. But really, I could have actually easily eaten another 1,000 and still be way under. But instead, what happened was I'd get tired and fatigued and then frustrated because I was like, no, I've eaten my thing. But if I had known all along my output, I could tailor my diet much more and not have that tiredness, that fatigue, that frustration, and then that that anger that would come with it because you're hungry. So I did find when I got mine, it did do what I wanted it to do, which was give me that leniency around my food because I could tailor that more to my output.
And since you started, why do you use it today? Is this for the same reason, or has you fallen in love with different features?
Right, so I'm going to open my app quickly and tell you all the different features that you're going to obviously get with your Fitbit, as well as your basics. So your like your front interface when you open your phone, you're going to have on a daily basis your number of steps, obviously. So yesterday for me, it's saying it was around 26,000. It's going to tell you your floors that you've climbed. So it has like a little gradient thing in it, and it can tell when you're having a slight incline. So it will tell you your floors. It will also work your steps out into a mileage. It will tell you as well how many calories you've burned and how many active minutes you've had. So that, I believe, is above a certain heart rate. But it also it will track because obviously on your Fitbit, you can track if you're exercising, the different types of exercise you're doing, whether it's bike, weight training, walking, running, whatever. So these are the things that I mainly use mine for. 1, to track my exercise. Okay. 2, to track my calories and my steps, and also to keep an eye on my heart rate. Oh, and my sleep. I basically use the whole app.
Just counted everything up there.
No, because I don't use the cycle monitor. You know, where I'm checking my cycle. I don't use that. So that's not handy for me. And I don't use. I stopped using the mindfulness thing, which I think is just an extra on the app at the moment. They're trying to get to go sort of premium, which I just use the standard. So you get all those things standard. But I did use the mindfulness a couple of times, and it just wasn't for me.
No, I did. As a person who meditates quite regularly, I did not like
I wasn't keen on
the meditation that was up there.
Why weren't you a fan of it?
It's just the type of meditation just didn't resonate with what I was after. I thought them was a little bit too blurry and stuff. Like I like more guided. I like my music in the background, but I have an app for meditation, so I prefer going on that one.
Yeah, it's only a new thing that they've had on there, but for me, it wasn't the sort of be and end all, something that I'd look to use all the time. I tried it, but let's say though, like, why, if you have I think Fitbit is good for not only people who are into fitness, but people who are looking to get into fitness and to keep healthy in fitness. And what I mean by that is, like I said to you before, when I was like exercising a lot more than I realized and I was way under eating, that's not good and it's not maintainable. You're not binging and stuff because you're like, I'm so tired, I'm so hungry, you need to eat a load of crap. So I find it's good for the maintaining a healthy balance in your fitness, as well as if you want to get shredded, then you can really keep to your diet and make sure you're getting out the output, make sure you're getting your heart rate up to a certain amount a day. But also if you're just looking to get into it, it makes you competitive.
Yes, we have a challenge actually every week, and we've done it for ages, haven't we?
We did, yeah. I stopped getting the notifications to my phone for some reason. They stopped coming through. That's the only reason I haven't been on it for the last few weeks.
So we have, what you can do with Fitbit is you can kind of connect with your friends and so on. So we actually have a step competition between some of our like mutual friends that we who's doing the most steps between Monday and Friday. So they call it
Work week hustle.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should do weekend one because I walk more on weekends.
Yeah, but then
But
I'll just be, you know what I'm like, I'll just go out for a long ass walk just to be like, I ain't losing this.
yeah, you're so competitive.
I did it before when we did a weekend one. I went out for like a 3 and a bit hour walk, just randomly, just watching stuff on my phone whilst walking.
You need to get a hobby, seriously.
I know. Not the first person that said that.
But that's the reason I love to track my sleep on it. I love to see
Yes.
the different levels of sleep, like REM sleep and deep
Mm-hmm.
sleep. Obviously, you need to take it with a grain of salt. Like this, when it comes to a Fitbit, it is not. It's very like all over the place. Like it's good in all the areas. It's not
Mm.
an expert in any area.
Mm.
Like if you want something, if you like an extreme athlete, then I would recommend more an advanced watch
Mm.
because you can see a little bit better in all those geeky details.
Mm.
And for example, if you want to track your sleep, like an Aura ring is the best track, is like the gold standard. But a Fitbit gives you a broad overview of your health. You can track the general things. And with the sleep, though, sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're like, "Oh, I had a really good sleep," and I watch my app, and I can see that, oh, I was that long in REM sleep. Oh, that explains why I dreamt so much last night. I remember my dreams. So I really like that feature. It's like one of my favorites.
I agree. I really do love the sleep part. And what I like about it is sometimes when I woke up in the morning and I feel tired, it's more of a mental thing. You just feel you're tired, but you're not actually tired. That I've gone into my app multiple times and looked and been like, well, actually, I've had a really good sleep. I shouldn't be tired. And then instantly I've like, it sounds silly, but I've snapped out of it. Like
That's really
if you
good.
wake up and you start telling yourself all the time, "Oh, I feel tired," you'll just generally feel tired, or "Oh, I feel angry or fed up today," or whatever. You will.
Mm.
But by having that bit, there's so many times I've been like, "Oh, I feel so tired," and look at the app, I'm like, "What are you on about, man? You've had great sleep. Get up, stop being an idiot." Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I do find that part of the sleep part, I really did like the sleep part of it as well.
I do, yeah. What would you then say would be the negative things of first and all Fitbit, but then second of any kind of fitness trackers?
Um, I think the thing is right. You need to know who you are, and if you're an obsessive person, you need to be careful because it can be very obsessive checking your steps, checking how many calories you've burnt, checking your activity. I can tell you now, I've had it before. I've set myself like 25,000 steps a day minimum. I've got into bed and I've got like 22,000 and it's like 11:30 and I've got out of bed and I've just jogged until I've got my last 2,500 steps, for example, before I go to bed. So it can become obsessive.
That's so your personality. I don't
Mm.
think many other people would do that, but there is a group that will do that, and you're definitely part of the crazy
Well,
ones.
you say
Sorry,
this.
guys.
One of my friends, she recently got a Fitbit after like I used to speak to her about it, and she was like not like someone you'd think was like that, and she would be messaging me at 11 like, "Oh, I've only got 2,000 more steps to go." So I think it can
Mm.
take over you,
Can
especially if you've
trigger.
got a competition going on. But that's what
Yeah,
I
if you're
kind of
very
like.
competitive.
Yeah, if you need that push though, you need that push, and you want to see yourself on the leaderboard doing quite well. What I love about that competition as well is we're having competitions with people in Australia, people in Spain, but we're all still on the same leaderboard. It's cool because you're having that competition with people all over the world every week, which I really like. But yeah, so that's the only negative I would say about Fitbit is it can become obsessive if you have that personality anyway, and you will need to just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I
How
will
about you?
actually 100% agree with that. No, that's number one for me as well.
Hmm.
I also feel like there are times where I forget to put it on.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't happen often, but a few times I have done it, and I wake up and I realize it's not on my arm, my wrist. I'm like, that was a waste.
I never take it off. I literally take it off for a shower. That's it, and it goes straight back on.
But I don't like to have things on when I'm at home. When I'm home,
Hmm.
literally, I do like I take my earrings off. I like to take my watch off. Like it's just a thing I have. So I have
Hmm.
everything just. To
Evelina's
be honest,
currently
I
sitting
take my
here
bra
naked.
off.
Evelina is currently. I don't agree with it, but I can't really say much. But it's awkward. But no, I leave it on, man. I want those steps around the house. They can add up, especially
I
if you're cleaning and
know.
stuff.
But you see, I'm not that competitive. I love competitions and I love the spirit and I get inspired by it. But I'm not a person that's like, I want to be number one. I'm more like, yay, I'm a part of it. The
It's
competition, it feels good.
Yeah, see, that is what part of it with me, but it's also if I walk around the house and I make an extra 2,000 steps and burn an extra 100 calories, I can eat another bit of food. So I'd like,
Yeah,
because obviously
I'm not
where I'm
tracking.
tailoring my diet, like I will change my diet each day. Like if I have a day where I'm exerting more energy, then I'll give my body that more food.
Mm. It's I also been gone to the gym a couple of times without it, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now. Because
Yeah.
what I like to do with the Fitbit as a personal trainer, or I think you maybe have the same thing, someone who's really into fitness, I track my heart rate during my
Mhm.
exercises and during my rest period
Mhm.
so I know how long I should be resting.
Yep.
So, for example, if I do sprints, I make sure I'm not falling under 100 beats.
Mhm.
Or if I'm doing like a weightlifting sessions, if my pulse goes too high up, I make sure that I take a little bit more rest between so I get that energy as I can do the next set.
I agree. Like I do that with my so obviously I go on the bike now, but I
Mm,
know that I can click into my session on the bike every day and see has my heart rate been at where I want it to be for fat burning for that time. And if it
mm,
hasn't, if it starts to drop off, what I do is I up the intensity on the bike. So I turn
mm,
the resistance up. So I'm making sure that I'm not just carrying out that exercise, but I'm getting what I need out of that exercise. The exercise is there
mm,
to burn fat. So I need to make sure I'm at a certain heart rate. If it drops below that, I've got a guide of seeing that. Here's my chart.
mm.
Your heart rate isn't getting enough exercise during this to be in the right zone for fat burning. We need to turn that up. And that's what I love.
Yeah,
It's got that detail there.
it's really good, but not only for fat burning. Like if you do an exercise, then I wanna make sure I'm maximizing my cardiovascular
Oh, 100,
fitness and
yeah,
improving
whatever
it. I
whatever
can be
part.
like, oh, I need to sit over this heart
Yeah,
rate, so
yeah,
that's really good. But it can be quite obsessive,
yes.
and just going out for a walk sometimes. Like I love to go out for walks without my phone,
Hmm.
but then I can't have the GPS tracker because I
Hmm.
need the phone with me.
Yeah, so you'd
So
have
it
that
gets
on
a little bit.
You'd have that though, I think, on your Apple Watch. So again, it depends what you want. But I tell you what I love as well with the sleep part is I found that actually I was just trying to sleep like 8.5 hours a day, but actually the quality of my sleep was a lot worse at that time. And I found that I was feeling more tired, even though I was feeling like I should be better because I've had more sleep. I was actually performing better around 6 to 7 hours, and during that time, I was getting better quality of sleep. So I
I like
didn't
that one.
worry about being like, I got to be in bed at this time, so therefore I get my X amount of hours. Actually, I'm like, well, I don't need to really go to bed till this time because I found my body gave me a better quality sleep. And because it tracks it every day, you can look back since I've had it. I can look back over the whole 2 years of my sleep as long as I had my watch on. And I can say, categorically, I sleep better around the 6 to 7 hour mark. If I go over that, I'm waking up a lot in my sleep.
I like that one. But I realized the other day this is a little bit shameful. I'm gonna share a secret of mine.
Go for it.
So it never really rains in Spain, but when it rains good, like it's pouring down.
Hmm.
So the other day I've been working a little bit too much, taking too much on. Only fun stuff though. I'm absolutely loving it, but it means I haven't been able to train the way I like. So instead of going training, I'm making sure I'm getting my steps in.
Mhm.
But it was pouring down the other days. I did not want to feel like
Did
I
you
didn't
jog on
feel
the
like going
spot?
outside. Pardon?
Did you jog on the spot?
I did not jog on the spot. What I'm gonna share with you is how many steps I got in
Oh, I
one
was gonna
day.
say. Go on.
800 steps.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
That's
But the thing
embarrassing.
is, when I
Snails
woke
get
up
more
the
than
day
that.
after, when I woke up the day after and it was not raining, the first thing I did went for my morning walk, and I felt so much better, like for moving my body.
Mm.
And I knew the reason why it felt so good is because I knew how little I was moving the day
Mm.
before. I did a yoga session though,
Mm.
So I did do some movement on that day when I was locked in my flat, but 800 steps.
Well, this is it. Like I say, you got to take it with knowing that, all right, you've had a bad, lazier day there, but at the same time, you'll pick it up another day, and it does track all that. That is again another thing that I love. Is, as I was saying, from the beginning of having your Fitbit to the end, it is tracking your heart rate, your steps, your activity, your weight. You can get scales that attach to your Fitbit as well, and they're cross-reference. Okay, so I've got the Renfo scales. They'll then send the data to my Fitbit, and it will give me an even better calculation of my calories because it's doing it on an up-to-date weight, and then that heart rate correlates and my height correlates, etc. But what I love about it is it's tracking all these things with me doing absolutely nothing. And when I go through my, say, cuts, for example, I can look back and say, right, currently on my cut, I am now, say, I don't know, 10% body fat, let's say. And this time I weigh 68 kilo, right? But last time I cut and I was, say, 10% body fat, I was, say, 64 kilo. So I can see that I've made a 4 kilo improvement from when I was 10% body fat last time. You see,
Mm.
and I don't have to write that down. They've recorded it for me, and I click on the app, and I'll say, right, boom, here, and it will show. I can look back at all that of where my heart rate was when I was, say, 64 and 68. Technically, your heart rate might be a bit more because you're slightly heavier, but you'll tell how good your fitness is doing because your heart rate's going to drop down, and you can look back at that over 6 months and stuff. I really like being able to look back at those details.
And you know what? For all the females that are listening out there, I know you're not using this feature, Luke, but you can actually track your cycle as well, which is really handy. Like tracking your cycle, like I'm doing it all the time. And then when I went to doctor once and just doing like a just normal checkup, I can show her. First of all, she wanted to know my cycle. Then she wanted to know my weight. So I can show her my whole weight for the year and my cycle for the year.
Yes, I love
and
that.
see the health level of it.
Yeah, I love that. It's just keeping that data, and as well by having that data, like sometimes it's a slippery slope. Like if you, as you're getting older and things are coming, work's a bit busier and stuff, and you've got less time to cook properly and stuff, and your weight could gradually go up over time, and your heart rate will go up. This gives you a note to go. Here's very visual that you've got to pull things back in line a little bit more. You know what I mean? Keeps you on top of it because if you're just like looking at yourself in the mirror every day, or feeling how you feel every day, you can start to think, you can start to forget to keep on top of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of keeping you accountable.
There's one thing though that I do not like with the Fitbit, and I noticed this in the first year I was using it, and I still do not agree on this one. So everyone was using Fitbit, and I know me and Luke speak loads about fitness and counting calories. That's like what Luke is all about, and I'm speaking about healthy living and stuff. There's one feature on Fitbit that I do not like and agree with at all. And have you seen that you can set out the amount of calories that you should eat in a day? Like it can calculate for you. So you can follow the steps, and Fitbit helps to calculate how many calories you should be eating during a day after your set goal. If you're doing the toughest one, like losing the most amount of weight in very little time, the recommended calories that I got recommended from Fitbit was under 1,000 calories in one day. Which is, now they're crossing the line, because no one, doesn't matter your weight, doesn't matter, like if you're a kid, there's one thing, but if you're an adult, female or male, you should never eat under 1,000 calories. And that I got really angry with Fitbit, that they actually recommend it in the app.
Yeah, I go pretty hard on my diets, and I don't go that low. I go like 1,700.
Yeah.
So it's still
1,000 should
nearly
not
double.
be okay.
Yeah, nearly double. But I definitely think Fitbit works for most. Like it works for if you're looking to get into fitness, you want a bit of competition with your friends, then you want the basics, and you get more and more into it, then it's going to be great. If you're already into your fitness, but you want to be able to tailor your own diets a bit more and have that freedom, what I liked about it is, whereas before if I ate my 2-2, as I said, and I had burnt a 4,000 a day and I didn't know, if I ate over my 2-2, I felt bad. And then I'd get annoyed about that as well. But really, by having the Fitbit, I was like, I can eat another 1,000 and I really don't care because I'm still massively under. And that's just the way that I look at my training and stuff. So it gave me that peace of mind, actually, for me. It gave me that peace of mind that, no, you got to go and eat more because you're quite far under where you should be. So it gave me that. But then if you are looking for something that's really, really defined and not so just across the board, then maybe it's not for you.
Yeah. And if you're one of those who's just, like Luke said, getting into fitness, and maybe you just want to start tracking your steps, because Fitbit then, or any kind of fitness calculator, you're having this when you're sitting in the office or at your computer desk, you're working away, then you realize, oh, I only did 2,000 steps today. It gives me motivation to go outside. Instead of putting Netflix on, I'm going outside, I'm getting some steps in, and I feel so much better because I'm getting that fresh of air, I'm getting that movement, and it is nice to see on my watch that, I did something today.
And it's a target. It's a target. If you set yourself a 10,000 target on steps, it's doable. But if you don't have the watch, how do you know if you hit your target? And if you don't know if if you're near it on there, it kind of takes away that sort of drive sometimes. If you're looking to first start to get into your health and fitness, then I think it's very good because it will give that little push to go, oh, I'm only so much away from it. Let's go and get it done. Whereas it's like if you don't have a deadline for anything, you never get anything done sometimes.
No, exactly. And during the lockdown, it was really, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware about it, but during lockdown in Spain, we were in full lockdown. Like, we were not hardly allowed to go outside. And having my watch, I can literally get some movement in and keep on track that I'm getting my movement in for my mental well-being, for my physical well-being, while I was in my flat. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I now saw a text message that Spain might go into lockdown.
Oh, nice. Oh dear.
Stay tuned, guys.
I think we've touched on most of the basics of Fitbit, and I would recommend them. I would recommend the Fitbit. I do think they're good.
100%.
Definitely, I think it's something that you can get into for quite affordable. Like I say, I think you can get them from as little as sort of £35-40 up to 200 odd pound, whatever. But like I say, it's a good starting point if you're looking to sort of get into fitness and you can't afford a regular personal trainer to keep you accountable, or someone to do your diets for you. We're going to be speaking about another way to track your diets in another one with My Fitness Pal, and the two of them will work and complement each other well if you're trying to have a more affordable fitness path.
Exactly. And can we just add a very important last thing that I want to touch on from the beginning? Never judge me when I get something cool, because you're going to fall in love with it.
Oh, wow.
I'm always right.
And on that note, guys, we're going to wrap up today's show. You can always find us on YouTube at 20 into 30 Podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, and you'll see us on Monday mornings. You can also find us on our social media pages.
20 into 30 Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And guys, don't be a stranger. Drop in, say hi, leave a comment. And if you want us to dive into any topics, let us know. We are happy to do so. And you find myself on my personal Instagram at Health by Evelina, also on Pinterest and Facebook. Luke at
Luke Bradley. I'm not really touching my Instagram at the moment, but you might see a video now and again.
So that's it.
But anyway, guys, until next time, you take care and we'll speak to you soon.